Throughout the course of last week, people started to panic. Steve Ballmer himself went to Bristol, Connecticut to do an interview with Ramona Shelburne of ESPN, and it was 16 minutes and 42 seconds of rope-a-dope, lack of credible anything when he said, all I did was introduce Kawhi to aspiration. I put $50 million in, you're right, but I got duped. I got scammed. It's all a big fraud. Pablo was not trying to prove that, in fact, aspiration wasn't a fraud. It was. He wasn't trying to prove that Steve Ballmer didn't get conned. He may have. The point of the episode was to show the connectivity between investing in a company and then a company investing in a player, which would violate the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, Article 13, Section 2. But Pablo wasn't done. He picked up the phone this weekend and said, I'd like you to come and record an episode with me. And I'm getting Amin, and we're putting the band back together. And I said, is it about Kawhi Leonard? And he said, you'll find out. And I said, okay, are we going to be live? He said, no, it'll be like last time, where we'll tape and then the show will be released shortly thereafter. I said, I'll be there. I sit down to do the show, which is now show 3 in this series of salary cap circumvention. And no more than 15 minutes into the show, it becomes clear to me that what Pablo has is not about a different salary cap circumvention. It's not him finding out about something else that was going on in the world of sports or the world of cheese or the world of streaking. He had more information about Kawhi Leonard and aspiration. You see, for some reason, he was able to look through documents, to look through breadcrumbs, to have sources who gave him the information that I saw with my 2 eyes, that Kawhi Leonard was owed money by aspiration, money they did not have. But Kawhi Leonard was promised this money by the Clippers. That part to me is clear as day. Aspiration required an investment, and they looked around and could find nobody except for 2 people who have pled guilty already and 1 guy named Dennis Wong. What's the big whoop? Now, the investment was not made by Dennis Wong. It was made by a partnership that's controlled by Dennis Wong. But the name's different. It's a little more clever than KL2 Aspire LLC, which is Kawhi Leonard, uniform number 2, Aspire, aspiration. That was the LLC that Kawhi Leonard used to get his $28 million. Dennis Wong used a company called DEA 88 Investments. And you think to yourself, DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency? DEA. Could that be Dennis plus the name of his wife and daughter? Not really sure. However, when you look up DEA LLC, LLP, guess what? It's public. It's Dennis Wong. Now, Dennis Wong is not just any ordinary man investing in aspiration. Dennis Wong is the vice chairman of the Clippers. Dennis Wong is Steve Ballmer's college roommate. Dennis Wong is Steve Ballmer's go-to partner. Dennis Wong is a limited partner in the Los Angeles Clippers. That's interesting. He owns 1% of the team. That's not that interesting, except when you hear he's the only one who owns any shares other than Steve Ballmer. Dennis Wong, out of nowhere, in December of 2022, decides it's a great idea to invest $2 million into aspiration. And 9 days later, aspiration was able to pay Kawhi Leonard a $1.75 million slug out of the $7 million that he was owed each year. You see, when you owe somebody installment payments, and Kawhi Leonard contractually was owed $1.75 million from aspiration 4 times per year, and you know you have a cash problem, you don't worry about the next payment or the next payment. You worry about the current payment. And aspiration had already been late on a current payment. They were falling behind. The Clippers could not have been happy. Kawhi Leonard must not have been happy. So Dennis Wong wrote in like an avenger and said, I will save today. Not tomorrow, but I'll save today. I'll put $2 million into a company that's going bankrupt. Talk about how you get poor from being rich. You do that. So why would Dennis Wong do it? Well, there are bank statements that Pablo Torre was given that show the money going in and 9 days later, the money going out. It is about as damning evidence that you could see. I must tell you that as I was sitting there recording the episode and I was taking this in, what Pablo was saying to me, I was thinking to myself, what is it that Adam Silver and the NBA are going to be able to do here? How are they going to handle this? And I was on record, very clear, that Adam Silver, after a Board of Governors meeting that just took place and finished yesterday, Wednesday, September 10th, he ought to do nothing when he meets the media. He's got PR people with him. He's got a general counsel, a head of communications. What is the upside to opening your mouth and saying one word to the media? The media doesn't deserve to hear anything. All Adam Silver should have said is, we have an ongoing investigation. We appreciate everybody's interest in this. We're in the middle of it. It's a serious investigation done by serious people. We'll be back to you when we know something. But Adam Silver did not stop at that, for a reason that he's going to wake up this morning and regret, because when Adam Silver met the media yesterday, he hadn't seen Pablo Torre's episode that just released this morning, September 11th. He didn't know that Dennis Wong, another Clippers owner / vice chairman / college roommate, was involved in aspiration. Now, he clearly must have known Dennis Wong, because Dennis Wong is the alternate governor for the Clippers. Of course, Adam Silver knows Dennis Wong. Dennis Wong, who appeared in pictures on the ribbon cutting for Intuit Dome. You see Steve Ballmer, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is Steve Ballmer with the scissors. I still have my scissors from Groundbreaking. Look at the far left in this picture. There's a man in a blazer looking lovingly at Steve Ballmer. You know who that is? That's Dennis Wong. The same Dennis Wong who Steve Ballmer yelled and screamed about when he was opening Intuit Dome, how excited Dennis Wong was about the project. Dennis Wong, the real estate guru. Dennis Wong, the brilliant man, puts $2 million into a failing company that then 1.75 of it goes to Kawhi. It's like, were they being funny? Did they say to themselves, we can't just put 175 in? Hey, Dennis, put in a little more than 175. And Dennis is like, Steve, I'm throwing money away. I'd rather give it to your family, your charity. I'd rather give it to my daughter, wink, wink, who works at Aspiration. I'm going to put it into Aspiration as an investor? Why? Dennis, you know why. But let's not make it obvious. Let's not leave too many breadcrumbs. Let's invest $1.99 million. What a great idea, because Kawhi is only owed 1.75. When Adam Silver finds this out this morning, and believe me, his phone has already been ringing. The bat phone into Adam Silver has gone nuclear this morning, because Aspiration, the company, is not the story. Adam Silver telling you that he's never heard of Aspiration, while unbelievable, is not the story. The story is Steve Ballmer investing $50 million into a company, that company defrauding him not believing in the company anymore, him saying to himself, there's something wrong in the state of Denmark. And then Steve Ballmer telling his best buddy, hey, put another $2 million. But Dennis said to Steve, it's not another $2 million. I've never invested in this company before. Yeah, I know. We'll send you some of the disclosures and you'll see. And I saw these, the disclosures and the disclaimers and the reps and warranties in the investment agreement show legally that this company was a disaster, being investigated by every federal agency you can think of. And yet, Dennis Wong said this is the perfect time to become a first-time investor in aspiration. Really? I'm not sure there's a worse time unless you need to get money to aspiration to get money to Kawhi. Adam Silver didn't know this, so I give him credit for that. I don't know why he said what he said yesterday. I want to play for you two things that he said. Let's start with something here, Coca. Adam Silver talking to the media after the Board of Governors meeting on Wednesday, September 10th, one day before the new information broke on September 11th that Dennis Wong, the alternate governor, the college roommate, the limited partner of the Clippers, had invested $2 million into aspiration 9 days before Kawhi Leonard got paid.
When the podcast came out, it was news to me. I'd frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around. And
Stop right there, Coca. Did you hear what Adam Silver just said for no particular reason? He had never heard of aspiration. Do you think the commissioner's aware of $300+ million sponsors the teams have? Aspiration signed a $300+ million sponsorship deal with the Clippers as part of the pre-Intuit Dome opening. They were the founding partner of Intuit Dome. You think Adam Clipper didn't know about Intuit Dome? Do you think there's a chance that Adam Silver wasn't aware that aspiration was on the seat backs of the best seats at crypto.com when the Clippers were playing? Look at this Avenger. Look at Simu Liu. Look at him. He's sitting in an aspiration seat. That's October of 2022 at crypto.com arena, right as things are about to go to hell in a handbasket. Adam Silver wants you to know that it took listening to Pablo's podcast to have heard of aspiration. I'm happy to say that. I had never heard of him. If there were a $300 million founding partner of any of the 30 teams while I was in baseball, I would have heard of that company. Why? I would have tried to get them to invest in my team. We're always monitoring. Do you think that the league, who's responsible for league sponsorships, isn't paying attention to what teams are doing?